Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Christopher Billings here with the CEO of the power plant, Die Hard, and we're going to ask Die Hard a few questions and see his thought process and what he feels, the future of TPP would be and things of that nature. We're going to get the insight of Die Hard, not the wrestler, but Die Hard, the business owner. So let's begin. Well, Die Hard, it's no secret you have a long wrestling career, spanning over 18 years. You started wrestling in the early 90s, and now we're in 2014. So the first question I want to ask to kind of get you warmed up here is, what is what has the change been like from when you started compared to where we're at now with, people like Cerberus, like Scythe, Bryson, your son Anthony Guerrero Jr., even James McKay, who used to be signed to the power plant, or Orion James, people like that, even Nick Virtue, as times have changed. How has it changed for you? What did you have to do to adapt when you were still wrestling, to be able to achieve the results that you wanted?
Well, Christopher Billings, it's different because when I started, I wasn't a big guy. I mean, I know you did that video about me, I think it was last year, kind of, reminding people of my history. But yeah, I wasn't that big of a guy. I was pretty small, and so a lot of people think I have this infatuation with bigger guys, but I really don't, because I started out as a small guy. My son is he's a medium guy, so he's not big, but he's not exactly small. But he's still on the smaller side. To answer your question, though, I mean, I had to really try to learn and adapt. I had to get very ruthless when I was in the ring, because there was always somebody that's going to try to push you down a peg or two and make you look bad. It wasn't always about making each other look good. It was about making you look bad. And so as I was growing and, getting better at what I do, I had to make sure that I knew that I could handle this. And the downside to that was I did get a lot of injuries, but that's neither here nor there. But what did I have to do to change? Just like anybody else, you adapt to your surroundings. As long as you can adapt, you can do something and make a difference. So that's pretty much all there is to it. You can make a difference if you can adapt. So I just adapted. I adapted to the change as it happened.
All right. Well, now since we kind of got you warmed up there, we all know that you're the CEO of the power plant, and you've been running the power plant for a little over 5 years now, 5.5 years, and it's been one heck of a ride, no doubt about that. I don't think anybody will ever argue the fact that it has been one crazy, crazy ride. And through the years, we've seen talents like Zach Samararo come in, Monroe, Nick Virtue, Brick Wall, Bryson, yourself, Jordan Moore, Bryant Kennedy, who you hold very high on your list of your favorite wrestlers, and that have graced the TPP ring. So we've seen a long list of people that have came in, have stayed in TPP, have left TPP, have left on good terms, bad terms, all kinds of terms. And so this was a question actually that I had received online about this, but the power plant in general, the direction that you're taking it, are you trying for a more realistic approach, or are you trying to get more gimmicks? And what is in your mind right now as the power plant progresses? I mean, we have amazing characters on this show, or on all the shows, and you have all this charisma coming from seeding from these other TPP wrestlers. And there's been these times where everybody just basically wore a wrestling attire, and now we're seeing these unique gimmicks and styles. And how does that play into what TPP is all about? What is TPP now? That's the question. What is TPP now to you?
Well, Billings, One thing that we've always pushed was, the whole, like with the tail end of the commercials where it says it's a lifestyle choice. It's not so much as the lifestyle choice. It's about evolution. It's about evolving. And you have to go through phases in time. There's TPP guys who still stick to the original mold of you wear wrestling trunks to the ring or you wear wrestling tights. You don't wear any impressive headgear or this or that or this or that. But one thing that TPP has always been known for is giving the lesser known an opportunity to get known. And I know that this may sound like I'm stroking my ego again, because we all know that Die Hard's very good at stroking his ego. But, a person like AC Arthurs, nobody would have known who he was had he not came through our doors. Had he not wrestled in TPP, had he not did his, when he wasn't a part of the Clique, and things like that, when he wasn't getting a singles push after the Clique, that was kind of like his NXT type moment. He got launched onto the scene, and then he went on to wrestle in other companies. Same thing with like James Mackay, or especially Orion James. When he came in and just came in. He came in, did his stuff, and now he's wrestling in other companies. It is what it is. I mean, sure, in a perfect world, everybody I've ever signed or worked with would only ever work for me, but in reality, that just doesn't happen. It's just not the way that life works. And I'm okay with that. I know that myself. I myself and a lot of the TPP guys that have been with TPP for many years, they only wrestle for TPP. They don't wrestle anywhere else. They just either they don't want to, or they just like the way things are. I mean, on camera, and I'm lucky that this, I was told this is kind of like off script, but on camera when we're recording in front of everybody, I'm this seething, maniacal, rude, ruthless old man that, doesn't care about anybody except for himself, right? That's the way that it is portrayed on the show. But in real life, out in the business side of things, it's not like that. Like Damian Gamer, a good example. This is breaking that wall again, but Damian Gamer, very close personal friend of mine. Okay, I love Damian Gamer, and so, we had our heat or whatever on Twitter, but he's one of my personal favorites. And Scythe, handpicked for success, right? That's what everybody said. But yeah, so I'm very close with everybody in TPP. We're all very good friends, and so what you see on the screen isn't always what is actually happening, and I think some people tend to forget that. But so TPP is all about change. It's all about evolution and growing and always trying to do something different, even when there isn't anything that you can do differently. No matter what, whether it's bringing in somebody like Nick Virtue and finally getting him to sign a contract, saying, hey, he's in TPP now full time. We get him no matter what. That was a crowning moment for me, because we had chased Nick Virtue for almost, I want to say 2 years. Like, we had talked about it before, but it never kind of went through. And then, now it's happening now. And that's really cool for me. It's cool for everybody in TPP, and it's good for the viewers too. They get to see somebody that they like, and he's got some heat, or not heat, but he's got some history with a lot of the wrestling fans. So it's good to have Nick Virtue on board, and I'm glad he's there. But yeah, so TPP's all about evolution. It's all about changing. The more things change, the more they stay the same. But it's all about changing and evolving. So,
well, speaking of contracts and getting superstars and things like that, it's kind of been like on the low. I don't want to say the low brow here, but Next Gen COD Training. You've opened up the TPP training facility in Grand Rapids, and so can you elaborate a little bit more on what NGCT is and how it's gonna fall into the lineup for TPP shows such as Frontline and Strike Zone and the CPV events? Can you elaborate any on what NGCT is, or is it still kind of taboo to talk about?
Well, Billings, I can elaborate, because we actually we're gonna have NGCT come out for everybody to see. Like, everybody's going to get to see NGCT. And so you're right. We opened up the gates for everyone. We opened it up so that people could get to see not only the training facility, but they could get hands-on training for, possibility of being on Frontline or Strike Zone. And so actually, for those of you watching this, the day that this is posted onto YouTube, tomorrow, NGCT will be streamed live the day before Frontline. And so you're going to get to see some people that you may recognize and others that you may not. There's a good possibility you're going to see a couple people you have no idea who they are, but there's a possibility you're going to see a couple people that you know. You may like them, you may not like them. But NGCT is next gen CAW training. We're starting to train the folks that are coming in, or that want to come in, and whether there's something about them that we feel isn't ready for the main roster, or maybe they are completely ready and we just don't see it yet. We just need to see a little bit more from them to fully get that understanding, and that's what NGCT is all about. It's individuals, wrestlers, females, males, that have expressed interest in wrestling on either Frontline or Frontline and Strike Zone, and it's our way of filtering them and finding out who's who and who would be a good fit, to wrestle on our main rosters, on our main shows, because we have, we just talked about this a few moments ago, but we have a interesting amount of people, different types of people on our roster. So we need to know. We need to know if they're going to be a good fit or are they going to be a bad fit. And I know you're sitting, over in the TPP studio, and I'm sitting at home right now enjoying myself. I'm enjoying my last night, because I'm going to be at NGCT tomorrow. I leave first thing in the morning. And, I'm going to be at the shows all week. And so, yeah, for next-gen COD training, it's pretty straightforward. You come in there, you work, and if you give us the kind of work we want to see, then more than likely you're going to get a call to come up to the main roster, which will be on Frontline and Strike Zone, respectively. A lot of people seem to think that there's two separate rosters there, but there's not. Frontline and Strike Zone is one shared roster, and then so NGCT is just another point of interest for TPP viewers, and it's a place for the fans, it's a place for other wrestlers that are interested in working in TPP but maybe can't get on the main roster. It's a way for them to get that TPP exposure. They can start working with some of the TPP guys. Then when they're there, they have full access to the training facility, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. So in that sense, that's what NGCT is. It's all about getting the next generation of wrestlers ready to go, ready to, pave the way for future generations of CAW wrestlers. So that is what NGCT is, Billings.
All right. Well, I know that this was a rather short interview. I did have a couple other questions lined up, but I know that you're busy, diehard. And I've always got TPP management breathing down my neck. So what we're going to do is I'm going to leave this on that note. NGCT debuts tomorrow. This week is a busy week for not only you, but all of management and all of the wrestlers. There's a lot, there's Frontline, Strike Zone. Fallout is on Friday night. Reckoning is on Saturday night. You're going to be busy. Everybody's going to be busy. But I just want to thank you for, taking a few minutes to join us here, diehard, giving us a little bit of an insight into your mind, and hopefully in the future maybe I can delve into your mind again and see the thought process of maybe that goes behind the people that you sign, the wrestlers that you sign. But again, thank you for joining us, diehard, and ladies and gentlemen, thank you for tuning in for this interview with the CEO of the Power Plant, Diehard.